Yeah!
Greetings. See you around. Greetings. Lifeless.
Yo, what's up, Laguana? How's it going, man? You've been getting some high scores on Mario Kart? Mario Kart time trials? I've been on the Mario Kart grind. I've been getting some really good time trials. Nice, yeah, so that's funny, I had just said that. Very nice. The one day I logged on and I was trying to like... Yeah, I kind of messed around with the time trials just a little bit. I'll have to take a look at some of your times one of these days. That's awesome. I was going to say, I appreciate your passion for Mario Kart. It's a good thing. Like, no matter what the game is, just like, you know, being passionate about something. We got 120 stars in Super Mario 64 the other day. That was a lot of fun. Talk about a fun challenge. And in the future, yeah. In the future, I'm going to be returning back to that game to practice it even more. Now I'm like familiar with all the stars, so maybe someday I'll do like I'll start with like a 70-star run in one session. That'd probably be a good starting point. I've done the 16-star run many, many times, but like 70-star is, yeah. Actually, there's 120 stars, 70-star runs, 16-star runs, 1-star runs, and 0-star runs as far as speed running goes. Let me see. Let me read your 300-word essay. There's a couple times I have right now that I'm super proud of. I've probably spent like 8 hours alone on Bowser's Castle. Oh, yeah, that's a great map. Wow, that's awesome, Iguana. I was just thinking about, remember in, what was it, Mario Odyssey? It was like, there was that one like mini game volleyball thing. It was like, we beat Lagana's score, and then you like hopped right on and we're grinding it. That was funny. Bet you didn't know about that. And then the one time you actually didn't know about the secret I found. You're like, actually that one I didn't know. Yeah, that was funny. Laguana, have you ever played Mario 64? I feel like we talked about this before. I feel like you said you have not, because you were trying to get, you were trying to get the Mario collection of like Mario Sunshine and. Is Mario? I don't know. I don't think if Mario Sunshine was on the GameCube emulator, I would have gotten that. Or I would play it, rather. Wait, they did... I think they well, I'll have to look. They re-released the Galaxy games, which, I mean, those are fine. But Mario Sunshine's pretty awesome. I beat one of the Mario... Maybe I beat both. Actually, maybe I did beat both when they came out. Because I had them. I know I at least beat one of them, but I'm pretty sure I beat both. They just were like, I wasn't as crazy about Mario Galaxy. essay. I haven't played it yet. I ran around for a bit. Although it seemed kind of wonky, I still need to play through Sunshine on the 64 on the 3D. Also interesting. Yeah. Well, Mario 64, I watched a retrospective the other day where a lot of people at first they think the controls are wonky, like people that are used to like quote unquote modern games. But actually the controls are super tight. It's more because Mario, like people have to understand, Mario 64 was revolutionary. When that game came out, there was nothing like it. And it literally pushed, like literally, I'd even go as far to say like half the games that exist now, or it literally created a genre. But being I've played games from Atari to Nintendo to Sega to PlayStation, PC, all the whole evolution of games, the main thing with Mario 64, in my opinion, is the camera controls. Because that's where, you know, it can make it, but the controls themselves are actually really, really good and really tight. But it can seem wonky because of the camera stuff. But that's otherwise I think Mario 64, in some ways, other than I think Mario Odyssey, that was the first Mario game since Mario 64 where I was like, oh, Mario Odyssey is incredible. But personally, Mario 64 is my favorite. But Mario Odyssey is like right up there. I thought Mario Odyssey is like really, really good. But when it comes to a game that like Mario 64, I actually want to keep coming back to. I was reflecting on this the other day too, where sometimes people are like, oh my god, this game is so amazing. And then they like play it once, beat it once, and then they don't play it again. But I think a game is really, really amazing if you keep wanting to come back. Like, oh, time goes by and you want to play it again. But, you know, in general, a good game's a good game. But I was just reflecting on this the other day. It was super revolutionary, push 3 dreaming into the main space. Right now, I'm on the GameCube emulator. Luigi Mansion, Zelda, Wind Waker, Mario Striker, Soul Calibur, Cheeky Robot. Yeah, I didn't, because I guarantee if Sunshine was on there, I'd want Chinchilla to see it, and not to mention I'd love to play through that. I think they're going to add it. Originally, it was supposed to be a launch title for Switch 2. They're going to add it, but they're like holding on to it because I think there's just so many like things that we're releasing. Yeah, Mario Sunshine is awesome. I would love to play Mario Sunshine. Me and Butterball had sushi tonight and steamed shrimp dumplings. But I ate a lot. Like the dumplings came with this like spicy teriyaki sauce. And with the sushi, I can't help myself with the wasabi. It's always so good. But I always eat a little too much of the wasabi, and it kind of gives me a little digestive issue. Sunshine is coming soon, though. Oh yeah. Nice. Oh. played the demo for Donkey Kong Bonanza. It was really fun. Yeah, I was even thinking, even though I have a lot of stuff going on, that I won't get into everything. But I have like health issues and stuff, and I also stream a lot, on average like 8 to 10 hours a day, and that's not even including like all the other content stuff I do and like the game development stuff and all types of stuff. But on my to-do list is to finish Donkey Kong Bonanza. It is really good. It is really good. The last time I played it, I was actually starting to cruise through it again. My character is so powerful because at first, like they made it that there's so much to explore in that game that I was like super exploring the first few worlds. So I got my characters leveled up really good. I have like a lot of the upgrades and stuff, but there's just been so much. And like, yeah, I started playing Final Fantasy 7 again. I had the Mario challenge. I want to get level 60 in this game. That's way overdue, but it's mainly because I was playing hardcore. You all know, I was playing hardcore for like a year and a half, and like kept having characters get to like level 40, 45, 43, blah blah blah. And I even currently have, and I had the characters die at level like, I don't know, in the 20s and whatever. But I currently have like a level 38 on the official servers, but here on Turtle Wild we're at 57. But I could have gotten level 60 like a few times by now if you combine all the other characters, but you know, it's all good. Yeah, Donkey Kong Bonanza is really good. I will be getting back into it. That's really, I'm glad you've been, I like how in Bowser's Castle time trial only make it to lap 3 and maybe once every... in every 50 attempts. Oh, is it because like you restart a lot? That makes sense. But yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, I like that. I like that you. Sometimes I think there's, when it comes to gaming, that's like one of the best feelings or vibes you can get is when you're really into grinding something or. So that's really good. I like that. I like it. There's 3 really hard shortcuts every lap. I need to restart time. Yeah, that makes sense. That's normal. Good work, Luana. Keep up the good work. Have you done online mode at all? I'm sure you have. I still feel like that game deserves an update. And I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. But that game deserves an update. Like, it deserves an online update. And, like, a lot of fixes, but... I'm sure it'll get a DLC or something. I have to admit, I do miss Mario Kart 8. I think when it comes to the multiplayer, Mario Kart 8 really nailed it. But I think Mario Kart World is good though, and I think it has potential to be amazing. It kind of surprises me. I don't know, like even I won't go into too much of a rant, but the thing is, like, it's easier said than done. So I know the game had like an 8-year development cycle or something crazy, and being that I'm like been getting into game development the last year and a half, I totally get it. I mean, well, they have like entire staff of people, but you know. It's hard to make really good games, or like, but I don't know, I just feel like if they have a winning recipe, don't change the recipe too much, you know what I mean? To me, that makes sense. Like, give us more of what we like, and you can just like improve upon it, make the graphics better, add additional items, or, you know. But I can respect what they went for. Do the races where you drive to the track. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people, that's like the general consensus. Yeah, that makes sense. Playing Final Fantasy 7 today. And then one thing that's sort of annoying, I was gonna get Galaga Arcade Classics on Steam. I don't know how many people have hacked on the leaderboards, but apparently like the first place spot, somebody like got a score that's like not possible or something, and that's annoying. Because every spot, you know, I've gotten top 100 in so many games. But, you know, you just like it to be a fair playing ground, because every spot matters on like a top 100 leaderboard. also, for Mario Kart World, I don't like the new items they added. Like the one where you get really big and just run over everybody, that one's really dumb. But, you know, once again, time trial, like, honestly, I mean, you just don't know. I think almost grinding the online for all those weeks that we were playing it, yeah, I mean, for me, when it comes to Mario Kart, it's like the motivation to want to get good at the game is to be able to play it online and be good at it or whatever. But had I known, I would have just done time trials and all that. But it's kind of hard. Yeah, it's whatever. It's fine. It's not a big deal. I put a lot of hours into it, had a lot of fun. I'm sure I'll return to it. Especially when they do like a DLC or something. But at the end of the day, I'm glad that I put a lot of time into it. I beat the single player mode and excuse me. I have like 8,000 points in both of those modes. But once you get to like 8,000 points, and I can't remember the name of the one mode. Yeah, then it just starts to feel like RNG. Like, you get trolled some matches you win. You get trolled some matches, you know, it's like, it feels very RNG. Knockout mode. Love the Mega Mushroom classic from Mario Wii. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Maybe it's fine. I don't know. And another thing too is, I never was crazy about. You know what it is? I think that ironically, I think there's too many people in the online mode too. For all the troll, you can have troll items. But when you have like 6 different people with Mega Mushrooms, that was one thing that ironically, less is more. Where I wish it would have been like... Because it's mainly that I hate that the beginning of the race, when it's like skill-based, I get in the lead. That is what Mario Kart World is for me online. Me being in first place by being skill-based and taking turns perfectly, and then Mega Mushrooms and blue shells and red shells, and then, oh, all of a sudden, you know, but I'm remembering it was that there's too many people. Was it 32 people or something? I think it's better off with like 8 to 16 players. What's crazy is, like, you put me with that Mario Kart development team at Nintendo, I'll fix that game in a week. I'd have that game fixed in a week. I'd at least have a rough draft playable. You know what I mean? Like, I would know the direction to steer. It's not hard if you just listen to the feedback. They honestly did all this. They did too much with Mario Kart World. They did too much, and even in the quote-unquote innovation side of things, like, I think they tried to do too much. What they should have done is, yeah, for online, just have it that the levels are self-contained. Have it for the single player, or a side mode where it's like a free roam mode. Where, drive around the world and have all these connectors and blah blah blah. But for like an online ranked mode, or even a casual mode, we just went straight up racing, just the track. Have a ranked mode with no items, or like, it should be like old school Mario ranked. Old school mode, red shells, green shells, mushrooms, that's it. And then have like your Mario Party mode of like, oh, don't care about skill, let's just put all these silly items in here. Have the crazy mode, you know, that's fine too. But just give separate modes. They should have like a pro gamer mode or like a ranked mode. Green shells, red shells, mushrooms. And maybe even one or two more items, but you get the gist. Like, that kind of is like setting the bar, setting the tone for what I'm kind of going for. Wow. Dang, 80 hours. Jeez. That's crazy. You know, games that I've put a lot of hours into a lot of games. Even we'll watch for this character on Warcraft. Check this out. Just for this character, 5 days. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 100 hours right there. That's more than 100 hours. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 120 hours plus 8. 28 hours right there on this one character. There was something else I was going to say. Oh, the Dark Souls games. Put 100 hours in each of those easily. But Elden Ring for sure. Well, I mean the Steam thing says I put like 120 hours in. Halo Infinite, I put like a easy 120 hours in because I had the Steam version and I had the Xbox Game Pass version because there was a point where I played it for like your account is the same on both, but yeah, I just played it at the time. I had Xbox Game Pass also, but I have like 60 hours on the Steam one, and then yeah. This, I mean, if you think about Warcraft in general, because that's crazy. If I put 120 hours on this character, I've probably easily, just in all my Booyah characters, 300 to 400 hours easily. That's pretty wild. Yeah, right? That's pretty crazy. Just this one character. That's crazy. But I'm trying to... Oh, you know what game that there's no way to really be able to gauge it? But League of Legends. Even if you look at my account level, it's like almost like... It's like 450 or something like that. My Valorant account is like 150. And if a match takes an hour, when I was playing ranked all those years... League, it's probably over 1,000 hours. I mean, honestly, it's hard to gauge. It's really hard to gauge on that one. Because I used to play League, like, all day. Or, I mean, I'd play it, like, 3 to 5 hours for years and years and years. But there was a time where I used to just grind that game, just play it. But like, I actually, in a lot of ways, I prefer how I play the game now. Because like, to get those arcane quests, and I started having fun with League again. But I try not to overdo League until they add WASD movement. Because I just, I try to take care of all my health. And your wrist can get really tired from right-clicking, like, so much in that game, but I have been having fun with League again. And then that's not if I think about Call of Duty, I used to play Call of Duty sucks now. It has not been good for a long time, and I don't think it'll ever be good again. But Call of Duty's another game that I probably put over 1,000 hours easily. I used to play all, I used to be obsessed with Call of Duty. But I don't think Call of Duty's ever going to be good again. It's kind of like Madden, where they just keep releasing the same thing over and over, and it kind of actually gets worse. It's not even like, it's just not even good anymore. Just keeping it honest. And isn't it funny, like, oh, everyone was like playing Battlefield when that came out, and then I never got on that hype train. I honestly, this game sucks. I think the last good Call of Duty was the Modern Warfare remake. That was pretty tight. What other games? Monkey Ball. I played a lot of Monkey Ball. But Monkey Ball is not a game that... I've played a lot of Monkey Ball, but, you know... Yeah. Yeah, I played a lot of Monkey Ball. Definitely over 100 hours of Monkey Ball together. For sure. But, you know, Monkey Ball is more a game like even, you know... I pick it up, I play it for a few hours, sometimes I'll keep that up for a few days, then I beat the game again, and then, you know, I get on the top 100 leaderboards. But I do really like Banana Mania. And once again, ironically, the new Monkey Ball, whatever, Banana Rumble, I thought that game was pretty good. But, I beat the game, and then the online's like so-so. The online modes, it's okay. It's almost really good. It's almost really good. I thought the single player was really good. But I still like the originals better, or Banana Mania collection of 1 and 2 and all that. That one's like super tight. I have 3,140 hours in Minecraft. I guess that's what 4 years of that does. That's quite a bit. See there, that's quite a bit. Jeez. That's cray-cray. You know, and I was just about to say, like, I started remembering. So, like, those hours that you put on Minecraft, when I think of back in the day, and it's on Steam, this game I'm about to talk about. So it used to be called Subspace. And it is called Continuum on Steam. But it's like these spaceships online, massively multiplayer spaceship shooter game from a top-down perspective. That would be, you know, back in the day, I'd probably put the 3,000 hours on that. That used to be like, I literally would stay up all night. I can't do that anymore. But I used to stay up all night. Play Subspace. It's kind of wild too, man. Talk about, man. They need to make a new Subspace. Subspace was so good. I'm actually kind of curious how hard that would be to make a modern day Subspace. Here, let me I'm gonna get you guys a screenshot of what Subspace. Yeah, it's called Continuum now. Alright, here was the permit. Oh my gosh, this game was so good. Let me get gameplay. Oh, that's like, wow. Here's a better, that's sort of a good screenshot. This one like showed all the, okay, this, all right, these are like kind of rough, whatever, it'll give you the idea. Hold up. So Subspace. This is what because like, it's, okay, I could like go on a whole nerd rant about this, but Subspace used to be free to play, and it got so popular, they ended up releasing a game, like a game, physical copy game. But this is what the game looked like, but this is like a really early version. No, but it has the weasel ship on the top right. This green ship could cloak in the center. God, Subspace was freaking awesome. But there was like a capture the flag mode. There was like servers. Kind of like now, like back in the day, this was Fortnite. This was Fortnite because there was different modes. There was like Warzone where you collect 8 flags and hold on to them for a minute and you'd win. God, it was so good. I'm almost tempted. Like, I've only been in the game development for like a year and a half, and I've had plenty of challenges on even the current game I'm working on. But we're making progress, slow but surely. But God, I would love to recreate Subspace. It was really good, Laguana. And what's crazy is you can still play Subspace. You can download Continuum on Steam, and people still play it. I actually, it may have been like a few years ago now, but to show Chinchilla, I logged on and played it. And I'm pretty sure I did on Steam the one day. Maybe sometime I'll do that again too. Dude, it was so good. Better. Yeah, I honestly would like, that's when just now I was like, I'll have to talk to some of my programmer friends like, other than, like, I'm very passionate about the project I'm working on. And like I said, like, the health issues I'm dealing with, which, you know, in the process of getting taken care of. I try not to talk about, you know, stuff on stream, but yeah, in the process of getting some of this stuff taken care of. But, yeah, especially like, yeah. I was gonna say, because the game I'm making, Night Elf vs. Orcs, I'm making that, and I sort of have like what I'm going for that. But I was even in my mind, I was thinking like, oh, should I like maybe someday try to make a multiplayer version of Night Elf vs. Orcs, or just make another game like. Because Night Elf vs. Orcs is kind of like a Monkey Ball inspired game, but different. But I did think that like that would be a pretty awesome idea to like make a new subspace. But like I was trying to think. But if I did something like that, yeah, I don't know. I would like I'd want to do it justice or. Like I thought, I'll have to really look into how hard is that to like, I mean, it can't be too crazy to like, cause like hosting your own server and stuff, I don't know, maybe that is, cause then that would, yeah. I could either, cause I was thinking, well, first off, you'd make like a prototype game that you could just play it locally. Like, let's even just, you start with just 2-player. And I did learn on YouTube how to make games multiplayer online in Unity. I was like studying that for like a month. It's totally a doable thing, obviously, but I was thinking like to create something like what Subspace was, to have like a private dedicated server or whatever. That may be where it gets a little more challenging. Let's go, you beat your Bowser score by 22. Is that 228 milliseconds? Nice. Yeah, but when I was thinking about it, because it surprises me that someone has not tried to do that. But maybe that is such a tricky thing to do, because like to be able to host your own servers, I think that's where the tricky part is. That's interesting. Because I'm gonna mess up the specifics, but from the research and studying I was doing about making a multiplayer online game, there was like 2 different types of ways that you program it. Like the one pretty much was like, oh yeah, it was like server based and peer to peer, or like client to client, where, and I remember there's like pros and cons to each that I don't quite remember. I think with the peer to peer, one person could be lagging, the other person could be faster and having an advantage, but on the server tends to even it out. I'm pretty sure that was the difference. But at the end of the day, I'm kind of mostly interested in my Night Elf vs. Orcs game, because I'm just making it that it's like a spiritual successor to Monkey Ball, but it's my own world. I won't talk too many spoilers. But I created like my own world, like my own IP, or like my own like universe, whatever you want to call it, story, blah blah blah. And I'm pretty much making like right now sort of the gimmick that I'm sort of going with is like I was gonna say challenging Monkey Ball, or like, yeah, that even though at first like some of these levels that I'm like building or working on, they're like basic, but I thought ultimately part of the, what's this guy doing? The whole point that I thought would be cool for the... Yeah, it's like I'm making like challenging levels. Or like a super challenging level that could take someone like days to be able to beat. Or something like that. Gosh, I'm so done with this trick. It took an hour to lower it by 2 milliseconds. Congrats, LeBron. That's a good job. You know, and one of my, like I said, health issues and things always come first, and I've just been like, even tomorrow I have like a doctor's appointment. You know, whatever. One of the things that, even though I'm part of an indie game development community, and actually there's a meeting coming up for that in December. Around the Video Game Awards, December 10th, around that time. But, one of the things that's been hard is I've been self-taught. And, yeah, I know how to use Unity, and I started, you know, I'm familiar with C# scripting, and I self-taught, you know? And I did a ton of YouTube tutorials and all types of stuff, and it's honestly kind of amazing that I even was able to make like a playable demo that I had some friends play and all of that, get feedback, blah blah blah. But it's pretty amazing. I just taught myself. But then the whole point I bring that up is that I always have been the type of person where I can learn something 100 times quicker if someone shows me how to do it. Like, or like for instance with like a speedrunning thing, if I watch someone do it, I'm like quickly learning. But then like, oh, if I'm reading a guide on how to do it, like even the other day when it was like one of the stars, it was like one of the gimmick stars in Mario 64, and I was just like reading a guide on like getting tips or whatever, and it was like one of the annoying levels, like the levels that they rushed, like Tiny Huge Island or whatever they call it. But I was like reading the guide, and sometimes the way they word it, it's confusing, but then literally I just like, and normally I hate using I don't ever use strategy guides unless I have to, or like if literally something in the game was like designed poorly and it's not intuitive or like whatever, that's like the only time. Otherwise I like the joy of discovery and figuring it out myself. But I ended up just scrapping the guide even for that thing I was trying to figure out. I was like, you know what, forget this, like this IGN guide is like worded really poorly, so but yeah, with the programming thing, some of the things that I'm figuring out on my own how to do, and I had someone that was on board, he's like making his own game, and I totally get it, but he was kind of like, when I pitched my idea, and he was like, oh man, he was all on board to want to work on it, but I just, you know, the thing is, he's got his own thing he's doing, but it's more like you'd rather someone be like, oh man, I wish I could work on that, I got my own thing I'm doing. But instead he's like, oh man, I love your idea, I'm gonna help you with this. But then, you know, but also you never know what's going on, like he could just have stuff going on. But not to mention, like, I'm just like a self-motivated person anyway, but if I even had one other person, I don't even need them for that long, but one other person to just help me with some, it's really, to even be specific, it's some of the animation things that I do not have mastery with yet, is the nice way to put it. Like, I learned how to script to make a ball roll. I have the assets, like I'm really good at level design, but it's like getting Booyah to do all the animations I want her to do. Yeah, getting it to work in tandem with the script and all that. Still figuring it all out, but we're gonna make progress on it. It's like game development is not a small thing, and I'm very impressed with myself that I've come so far. Oh, thank you, Laguana. Let me read what you wrote. Exactly, yeah. Thank you, Laguana. I appreciate that. I'll need your guys' prayers and stuff. I was gonna say, yeah, I try not to talk about private stuff on stream or whatever, but need you guys in my prayers. Early next month, specifically, yeah, the first of next month. Gonna need you guys in my prayers. Or I worded that wrong. I'm gonna need you to put me in your prayers. You guys are already in my prayers. And honestly, I need to be in your guys' prayers. Thank you, Luana. In general. And I really appreciate, honestly, and even in the smallest way, you guys can always help. Literally, whenever I go live, just smash the like button. Really, it's even funny because, of course, I love when people come and say hi and touch base and tell me about the high scores they're setting in Mario Kart, or really anything. I appreciate all of that. But one of the best ways you can support is keep me in your prayers and smash the like button. I really don't ask for much. I don't. I put a lot of work, and it's kind of crazy. Like, me and Chinchilla were talking about this the other day, but how much work I've put into my YouTube channel, even because, like, I'd say it's been the last 5 years where I started, like, really grinding on the channel, you know? And we hit 1.5 million views. I'm like a viral basketball player. I mean, even my Mario clips, I had my Mario 64 clips, one of them almost has 5,000 views alone. I kind of got to the point that even when I do a Taco Bell video, it gets as many views as the basketball. But the basketball pound for pound is my most popular, but I kind of proved I can do anything, and I get the views now. Cause I almost have 2,000 subscribers as well. And I checked my analytics when I was taking a break today between streams, watching Galloping Ghost stream, and I saw I got like 60 subscribers this month from the Mario videos, which is awesome. That's a very good month for, you know, that's really, really good. And I want to do more Mario content. Ironically, part of why, well, it's good that I got on a good momentum of really grinding the Mario 64 the last week. And I was just having a lot of fun doing it. And I was really enjoying the challenge. But I was trying to get that all done before the first of next month. And we're going to see how things go with all of that, you know, because, yeah, we're going to see. I'm not sure when I'll be able to stream. Like, it's going to be like a week or two, at least. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see how the recovery goes. But yeah. I was even, like, Chinchilla knows for, like, the last month, I was like, because, like I say, I just prefer to be a private person the most that I can, you know? I just think that's the way to go in life. Even, for instance, yeah, I don't need to go into an example, but, like, I'll give an example. Like, it was in one of the Marvel movies, one of the actors was dealing with health issues, and he didn't tell anybody, and, you know, he passed away. But Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat, but yeah, what I was telling Chinchilla is I was sort of like, I was like, should I tell my community? And she was like, you can, maybe wait closer to or something, but yeah, we'll just see. We'll just see. Just keep me in your prayers. All good. I didn't really want to. I don't like bringing attention to things. Ironically, it's kind of ironic being I'm a content creator and I love doing this. But if you've noticed too, even just for like health issues or whatever, like I don't use the webcam all the time now because I realize, especially lately, like I'm you know, I got stuff going on, so I may not be, you know, maybe feeling a certain way sometimes. I don't always want to be on camera, and it's not that big of a deal. I kind of realized it doesn't really affect the views at all. I don't even think people really care, and I don't care. And it's one of those things that in reality we should do things that are good for us, like are healthy for us. So like if you've noticed, sometimes I'll start with the webcam off, and then sometimes if I feel better or I feel like putting the webcam on, I do. But it's all good. So many, honestly, half the streamers nowadays are VTubers, or even there's some huge streamers that don't even use it at all. But there was a point that I was going to make, you get what I'm saying. But it's more that, and also lately, I'm sure you guys have noticed, even though it's really impressive, because you guys saw, like, you know, well, I like to think, I mean, if my health is good and this and that, like last summer or whatever, there was times where the one day I did like a 15, I remember, yeah, I used to do like 15-hour streams, 16-hour streams, 10-hour streams. And then when I noticed, you know, with health stuff catching up to you and just life coming at you, now when I hit the 4-hour mark, but it doesn't even need to hit 4 hours, but this week a lot of times like 4.5 hours in or 3.5 hours in, 4 hours in, it's time to take a break, you know, so I take a break. And it's like, even then I'm sometimes very exhausted, or I'm like, you know, because like the thing too is, I know a lot of people know this, but it's very easy on the outside when you see streamer and you're like, it really is one of those things. It's almost like someone that watches football or watches baseball, and they're like, oh, I could do that. And then you have a professional baseball player throw a pitch at you and you can't even touch it. So streaming is kind of like that, actually, where, oh, like, I even would give someone, I've been doing content every day for like 5 years. And I pretty much stream every day. For a long time. I don't take days off. But that's, you know, gonna change because I have to. You know, early next month. But, and honestly, I want to be able to recover and get back to streaming whenever I can. But, you know, it's all good. But yeah, I was gonna say, I'd love someone to try that. I'd even start with saying like, oh, stream every day for 5 to 8 hours, every day for a month. And then let the person kind of get back to me after they do that. I guarantee they're going to have trouble even in the first few days or the first week. They're going to be like, what? Because like, yeah, you think, oh, sounds easy. Sure sounds easy, huh? And then I would add to that. Then I'd be like, all right, stream every day for 3 months. Stream every day for 6 months. Stream every day for a year. You know? But at this point, you do get to a point, it's like a lot of things in life. If you grind enough and you do it enough, and if you want, you have to want to do it. But you have to go through the challenging times. But I've kind of gotten to the point that I'm over a lot of that as far as like I can just do it. And if it wasn't for health stuff, nothing would stop me, you know? But it's good to like, I've been for, what do you call it? For like, as I'll specifically say, like, especially the last half a year to a year, I started becoming much more aware of how important mental health is and physical health is. And, that really needs to come first. But it's so much easier said than done, because, yeah, it can be tricky. I was even gonna like share more information about, there was like another health issue that it was last year, it was last fall, but I set a world record while I was having this issue. Yeah. And then I ended up having to get that taken care of. But it was kind of crazy but that's like my commitment to what I do. But then I sort of understand, or you kind of get perspective where it's like, it's amazing, because it was for Shadow the Ninja, by the way, which was the world record I was going for. I had played the demo, was waiting months for it to come out. I actually had multiple world records at that game, and I guarantee if we put up the Switch right now, I remember last time we did check, I'm still top 10 on some of the levels of that game, on the speed run top 100s. But yeah, that's not healthy. That's not healthy. But I didn't know what was going on at that time. I had to go. Yeah, I had to go to the doctors. Actually, I had. I'm not talking too much specifics. Like I said, I just try to keep private about things, but try to keep it vague. Just feel better that way. So I can, right now it's okay to talk like I'm talking. But unless it's kind of like on a need-to basis. It's kind of on a need-to basis type of thing. And I was gonna say, like, even like, I was kind of feeling, I've been here and there feeling a bit of emotion, even just sharing about it, talking about it. But that's fine, that's healthy and normal. But yeah, like I said, if anything, when it means a lot when you guys smash the like button. For those of you that watch the stream every day and support and watch the shorts and are cool, and whether you lurk or you chat, it doesn't matter to me. I really try to bring entertainment and joy to everybody, and I sacrifice a lot. I sacrifice a lot for that in my own way, and I continue to strive. If you look at the analytics on my channel, I hit 3,000 videos. I'm at like 3,010 videos. And I've done that in like 5 years. And there's like 354 days in a year, so you can kind of do the math on that. 1.5 million views. It's actually at like 1,500,050. Yeah. And we're almost at 2,000 subscribers, which is great. Pushpa, thumbs up from India. Good morning, Pushpa. Namaskaram. Hope you're well, Pushpa. Always good to see you, Pushpa. Thumbs up to you. Make sure you're taking care of Chinchilla and hope she's taking care of you. Smash a like button before you even started talking. Always number one on my priority list. Thank you, Laguana. I do really appreciate that. Because I will admit, you know, when I put in the work I put into the channel, and a lot of times I will admit, I like to see like, oh, I put in the work and getting the likes. But it's more that it helps the, what do you call it? The algorithm or whatever, you know, it gets more exposure for the video. It shows, but I know too, a lot of people just forget because I think it's easier for like people that if they don't stream themselves or make content, then they're like, oh, it doesn't matter, but it makes a difference. It for sure makes a difference. Because the channel's been doing great, and I've even noticed for the live streams, this was so annoying to me the other day. I had 28 people watching me for like 3 hours yesterday, and in my mind I'm like, wow, all my hard work all these years, it's like paying off, and look at this. And I'm like, oh, you know, I did a poll, it's like, oh, should I get Celeste? And then people were like, yeah, and I was gonna like get it anyway probably, but I download the game and it freezes the computer. And I had to restart the computer because I couldn't even like Alt Escape or Control Alt Delete. I just got stuck on a black screen and it was like glitching my computer. So and then literally I restart up the stream, restart the stream, and I like had 2 people watching, and I was like, I felt so discouraged. I was like, all right, whatever. I had already streamed like 8 hours that day. But I was all hype. I was like, wow, 28 people watching me play League and Valorant and Kirby or whatever I was doing. But, you know, life is like that sometimes. Life is just like that, you know? And to kind of, on like a spiritual note, I do know, like, especially, well, we got Pushpa in chat, Laguana in chat, very spiritual people. Everybody's spiritual, by the way, because you're spirit. You know, that's the thing is, and this is something that I won't even sit here and debate with somebody because I have a certain level of spiritual realization. Why do you think I do Shambhavi Mahamudra? Why have I been doing meditation every day, you know, the Shambhavi every day for like the last 7 years is, you know, and because, and also I know better than to talk too much about that, you know, because it's like one of those things like, but I very much am into like, that's one thing that's neat about Final Fantasy VII when they talk about the life stream and stuff. Because, like, that's the reality of life, is that there's consciousness. And you're an individual bubble of consciousness. You're one with God, you know? And enlightened avatars like Jesus Christ came to this realization. Even, you can look it up on your own, but Jesus spent time in India. He learned, you know what I mean? But, like, Jesus also, an avatar is an enlightened being that descends. We're all ascending, but an avatar descends and comes down the 3rd density, or Earth, or whatever planet. But I have a level of spiritual realization. But like I say, I don't even talk about that, or I stop talking about it, because I've learned, well, like sometimes even too, a true guru, like Sadhguru, Jaggi Vasudeva of Isha Foundation, not like a woo-woo guru, or like some yoga teacher that doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. And I'm even a 2,000 hour yoga instructor. But I had a spontaneous awakening because I was just mimicking the Buddha, sitting in Ardha Siddhasana, just a standard meditation pose, no training, and you know, opened the third eye is like the easy way to put it. I had a Kundalini awakening. But just because it's something that a lot of society doesn't know about doesn't mean it's not a thing. Because I actually had to go through that for a long time of not having any reference to it but then I met Swami Shankarananda of Divine Life Church and got more perspective on things. But that's been a whole journey, you know. And then, yeah, for the last 7 years, because Swami left the body, and I had only learned a basic Kriya from him. It was Hong Shaw, basic meditation. But I recommend for anyone, that's why always in the description, always in the titles, not on the streams, but like on the shorts, I always do hashtag Save Soil, hashtag Conscious Planet, because Isha Foundation, they're doing like the best things in the world compared to any other organization. Not to mention that most companies and organizations are pretty corrupt and selfish. But if someone ever wanted to explore more of that, I always have the link in the description for Isha Kriya, free potent meditation, 10-minute meditation you can do every day or at your convenience. And then if you do that and you want to go further, then Shambhavi Mahamudra, which that only takes like 30-35 minutes every day, and it's like a life-changing thing, and it's a way to awaken and energize the chakras up and down Sushumna, which is the central spinal axis, and the third eye, which is Agnya. There's 7 chakras. That's the 6th chakra. And also you have chakras all throughout the body, but those are the main junction points. I forget, because I don't really care about the whole math and science of it. You don't even need to understand it all, because it just is there. But in the body, I think there's like 1,000 like chakra points, or whatever you call it, energy points. Something like that. I have to look that up. Or nadis. Maybe it's not, because there's 7 chakras, and then the nadis are like, yeah. Like I said, I stopped studying the science stuff of it, because you just do your Shambhavi, you do your Kriya, you do your prayers, you be one with the breath, you know. And then I care more, you end up simplifying things. I used to be big into, if anything, like, because like in the society, they try to like, they overemphasize like book smarts, which literally nowadays you can like look up anything, and not to mention someone being able to regurgitate information back onto a piece of paper doesn't really show true intelligence. Not to mention that society's not even aware of that there's like emotional intelligence. They don't value that. They just value exploitation and taking advantage of people. And don't even get me started on the corruption of the educational system. Because once again, like, if you're really going, if you look at it, the type of people that they're producing, it shows that it clearly doesn't work. They just keep people busy and distracted. And so they don't have time for the truth. You know, they're not interested in the truth. And when I'm talking about the truth, I'm talking about existential. Not like a relative truth, objective truth. So some people don't even know about consciousness or anything, but without going down, rambling too much about this stuff, but that can be another frustrating thing when, but like Jesus, if you look at a lot of his quotes, If thine eye be single, thy whole body be full of light. That's literally referencing Kriya Yoga. That when you're focused with eyes closed at the point between the eyebrows, if thine eye be single, thy whole body be full of light. Literally perceiving the light of the chakras. And yeah, there's a whole bunch on that of the lost pages, the lost chapters from the Bible. You know, because yeah, Jesus, you can look up Jesus in India. There's even books on it. I have like a bunch of books on that stuff. But if I wasn't tired and out of it, there's a lot more Christ quotes. Yeah. The educational system is pretty much crap. But the thing is, it's developed that way to keep people dumb. Ironically, people think they're smart, but it keeps people, they lose their humanity, and it's to keep people busy. It's to keep them busy and distracted. And it's even like out of date. It's way out of date. Not to mention too, if it actually made sense, they waste a lot of time. Cause it's almost like it's even like, it's one of those things I'm like being careful not to get too much into a rant about this, because I could literally talk forever about this. It's also very unhealthy the way they structure it. It's very unhealthy. It's very unhealthy. And it's not like, oh, what I was going to say is, if it actually made sense, if they actually cared about, like there's one Sadhguru quote I love, and Sadhguru in his books talk about this too. But humans are not a resource. Humans are a possibility. Yo. Humans are not a resource. Humans are a possibility. Like, meditate on that. That is a very powerful quote. Yeah, that's what the educational system does, and what society does is they treat people like resources, but it's not what we're here for. If you look at it in the ultimate sense, we're here to know God, and we're here to find our own bliss. But that's largely not encouraged, actually. But there's a facade, because the commercials and the media, there's the facade of having your best interest, but that's not always the case. There's a lot of corruption. And that's why, like I say, people can do their own research on that, but I just represent Conscious Planet, hashtag Conscious Planet, hashtag Save Soil. Isha gets it, you know? Isha gets it. And even if you, on my YouTube page, and it's usually like the thumbnail is the Bhairavi Devi. The Devi is like a consecrated goddess. And then there's also Dhyana Linga, which is in India. Dhyana Linga has all 7 chakras activated. It's honestly no different than an enlightened being like Jesus or Buddha or Krishna or Sadhguru. And Devi has 3.5 chakras activated. But Devi is very, very potent and powerful. And I wear Devi. That's the necklace. I have a consecrated necklace from Isha. I have a Devi Gudi. And yeah, and I've been to the ashram in Tennessee. I did Bhava Spandana program, BSP there. And I met Sadhguru. I was initiated in the inner engineering from Sadhguru in person as well. And he's the real deal. And the way you can know the difference is when you're in his presence, you can it's if you can imagine what it would be like to be in like the presence of Jesus, like not even joking. The thing is, like they say, from an enlightened perspective, a truly enlightened master is no different. There can be differences in the outward expression of their personality or something, but they consciously create their personality. But there's no difference in the realization as far as like if they have all 7 chakras activated at the full pitch and vibrancy. And people can do their own research. Like I said, I've spent the last 10, 15 years kind of studying this stuff. And like I said, I don't even study it, quote unquote, so much anymore because you start to not care about being book smart about it. And you do the practices, you live your life, and you keep it simple. You be with your breath, you know. There was a point I was going to make. I also start to get tired. Oh wow, it is already 9 o'clock. Okay. But yeah, in heaven, there's no one master is not better than another master in heaven. So if they've realized the oneness of creation, then they're one with God. So that's all that matters. Oh, but yeah, I was going to say, if you want like the technical term, well, there's a word called samadhi, and samadhi translates to equanimous intellect. But when it's referring to the intellect, it's referring to the discriminatory ability. But equanimity is oneness. So it's like with your energy, you work your energy up to a pitch where it experiences the oneness, but there's different samadhis. Like I say, I'm not an expert on all this, but there's like Maha Samadhi that's the final samadhi because that means that they're no longer in embodiment and they will not reincarnate. So it's the final samadhi of complete merger with the isness of God, the consciousness of God. The bubble has popped, is another way to put it. The bubble of individuality has popped. So they have dissolved their karma. And if you really think about it, karma is just the ego, or it's the identity. It's natural. It's natural because you come from the ocean of existence. And the ocean is there right now in space and time. So, but then it's the journey back home. And then the sacred word in Hindi or in Sanskrit is Om. So, and Om chanting. Om is the sacred sound because all words are made up of those 3 like syllables. And they say like if you look at like whether you call it the Big Bang or that frequency that's permeating from everywhere, it's like the same sound the vacuum makes. And they say like the chakras all have a certain frequency or a sound. Existence is like sound. It's like light and sound and frequency. But pretty much you transcended the karma. And through sadhana, which sadhana is like any effort towards realization, which pretty much like, because they say there's like 4 branches of yoga. There's karma yoga, which is selfless service. Bhakti yoga, which is devotion, love and devotion. Jnana yoga, which is that's like what do you call it? It's sort of like using your intellect to discriminate between truth and untruth. I'll have to look up the specific definition of Jnana Yoga, though. It's like Jnana. And then Kriya Yoga. Kriya Yoga is transforming your inner energies to realize God or existence or to realize yourself. And Kriya Yoga is the lightning path to realization. But you're it's like you're a combination of these things. Another way to put those yogas, it's head, heart, hands, and energy. So like the hands are the karma yoga, like being of service. The heart is the bhakti yoga, love and devotion. The Jnana yoga is like your mind, devotion to God, and like truth and untruth. Because anything that is relative in like physicality is technically an untruth, but it's true that it's a dream, or that it's like a dream that's real, you know, but it's not forever. But then the consciousness, God, is like forever, as long as God wishes to be. And the thing is, like, we're not God, but we're one with God. That's a very important distinction. So like you're one with God, so you are that, but we're not God in the sense of like, once again, and trust me, I had plenty of complaints to God, and I had plenty of feedback, constructive feedback, and that's a healthy thing to have. But to understand what God's plan is, or what God was intending, that they say those are like the great mysteries of life. That's kind of for like after the game of life is over, maybe we'll get those answers, you know. An Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda, which if someone wants a good read, any book by Sadhguru is amazing. And The Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. That's definitely Steve Jobs, when he passed away, he had that book given away to everyone that was at like the funeral or whatever. That was his favorite book, and it was the only book Steve Jobs had on his iPhone or whatever, or his iPad or whatever. And another interesting thing, Elvis Presley knew who Yogananda was. Elvis Presley used to go to, in Encinitas, California, there's a self-realization fellowship. Self-realization fellowship and Isha, they're separate foundations, but both, I tend to recommend Isha Foundation to people because self-realization, they're both good though. They're both good and great. But like, Sadhguru is still an embodiment. Yogananda has not been, you know, he left the body, Mahasamadhi, a long time ago, like over 50 years ago. But Elvis Presley used to go to Self-Realization Fellowship. Just, they don't even mention that in the book, but it definitely is a thing. Because he was friends with one of the Ma's there. Dayamata, I think her. He was like very close friends with her. And when he wasn't touring, he would go and like he was having like health issues, and he got big into meditation and yoga and all that. Trying to think if there was anything else about but then about the samadhis, that's where I kind of digressed a bit, but it was all relevant. But there's like living samadhis, like Sadhguru, he's in samadhi. Like if you watch any videos of Sadhguru on YouTube, the dude is in 24/7 samadhi. But yeah, he realized himself, but it actually took him like a few lifetimes of sadhana. And he had like intervention from Shiva. It's a whole, you can kind of do your own research on that. It's like too much to kind of condense. But there's a point, but yeah, I can't remember all the samadhis. There's like 8 different samadhis. Nirvikalpa samadhi, but like some of them are like samadhis while embodied. Because yeah, I mean, pretty much all of them until Mahasamadhi. But that's like a conscious exit from the body. But they say like, yeah, let people do their own research on it. I just, to be honest, like, because like I say, I know what I know, and I leave it at that. The reason I don't even talk about it on stream is because, well, first off, I just kind of like keep to my own business. But unless I feel inspired to, like tonight, I felt like talking about it, and especially like talking about all this health stuff, and like when there's so much uncertainty in life, you want to talk about things while you still can talk about it, or like, you know, when it's appropriate to. But I also try not to be like some religious zealot, just because that's the sad thing too, is that the reason why religion or spirituality gets such a bad rep is because there's so much, like, they've even turned religion, they've turned that into like a, like Jesus even, he talks about that, like he warned that people would talk about the second coming of Christ and all this stuff. The real second coming of Christ is in humanity. It's in Christ consciousness. But you have all these idiots that are like literally waiting for Jesus to come back. And the thing is, I know Jesus is so powerful. If he wants to come back, he could do it anytime he wanted to. But I don't, like, the thing is, he doesn't need to. Because he already taught everything he had to teach. And the fact that we're still talking about him, you know, he did his part. Like, but he was teaching people to meditate, and the Lord's Prayer, even in the Lord's Prayer, has everything that you need. Like, I started, after I do my Shambhavi in the morning, I do the Lord's Prayer every day now, you know, and I'll recite it for those that are either not familiar with it or maybe don't know it or haven't meditated on it in a while, but it's like, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those that trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. So, real quick, Our Father who art in heaven, in consciousness, in like existence, hallowed be thy name. A halo, all those saints and angels with the halo, that's enlightened energy. They have their chakras energized through devotion, through meditation. There's many paths, you know. Like I said, there's 4 different yogas. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, meaning that this third dimension exists. God willed it from the ether, or the consciousness that created the ether. It's been willed into existence, and it only can exist because of the will of God. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Meaning the third dimension and the astral plane. So there's a causal plane, an astral plane, and a physical plane. And you have, the causal plane is the nothingness. That is, there is an isness, but it's nothing. Shiva. The astral plane, that is your chakras. That is heaven. That is the consciousness. The pure energy, the pure light. And then the physical plane is third. That's like your science class. That's all you'll learn from the corrupt educational system, is just the last part of it. The most subjective and the most temporary or whatever. give us this day our daily bread. So food comes from God. So it's saying like sustain us, you know, literally bread back in the times of Jesus, bread and water, you know. Give us our trespasses as we forgive those that trespass against us. So we all make mistakes, and what's more important is that we learn from those mistakes and we become better human beings as a result. And the hardest part is not only forgiving ourselves, but forgiving other people. And I have to remind myself of this every day. I have to meditate on this. Because I've been taken advantage of by a lot of people. I've been hurt by a lot of people. But you have to forgive that, you know. You can have crazy neighbors, crazy people. Even like the other day I had this idiot motorcycle guy literally tailgating me when I drive super safe. I take my time. I drive the speed limit. I'm very conscious, very aware. But we have a world of idiots, you know. And on a motorcycle, like literally tailgating me. But it's like that's like even just a small example. That's like you have to forgive people because people are at different stages in their evolution. And even though a majority of Earth is a very low consciousness, and if the whole political system is not a reflection of that, then I think that is more a reflection of people's lack of consciousness or awareness. It's pretty obvious for someone that even has a little bit of awareness or, you know, or maturity. Any type of maturity. So, just like in Jesus' time, literally, if you think about it, society killed Jesus. And they were looking for any reason to, you know. And they crucified Jesus for, he said he was one with God. You know what I mean? He literally, but then people were starting to call him God. But there is a level of realization where technically if they've transcended all their karma like Jesus, then they are one with God. They are God. Like Jesus is God. But Jesus also, you know what I mean? But he came as man, so he wept, he had emotions, he had feelings, all this stuff. But Jesus is an avatar, so he technically, Jesus is God, you know. But in all the other examples I was going to give, like, when it comes to any of us, we have to have the humility and awareness to understand that we are one with God, but we are not God. Someday we will be with God, and we are with God now, but I think you get what I'm saying. There was something else I was going to say. But yeah, honestly, in a lot of ways, I feel like things are not that different from even the time of Jesus. And like I said, even Jesus predicted that people were going to be stupid and totally get his message wrong. Most people don't even understand that meditation and prayer and devotion are the ways to God. But instead, they make it another thing where you're studying and you're kept busy. And you're supposed to worship. And like, once again, I think churches are better than nothing. But a lot of them kind of miss the mark. And that is what a sin, that is what sinning is. Sinning is missing the mark of life, you know? But it becomes another thing that is manipulated, very manipulative, you know? And another thing too, like they say the signs of the devil are, and this is a lot of society, is it has the facade. It's almost like the cover of the book. Society cares more about the cover of the book. And I always think of like, there's so many like corrupt companies and things where they act like they have your best interest, but then they don't, you know? But society is very good at, like, they care about the cover of the book, but the inside can be filth. You know, the inside's like filth. But then, if it's a nice cover, then it sells well, you know? and they'll just put, oh, New York bestseller, this bestseller, and it could just be like crap. But yeah, there's and when I get tired too, I kind of was a little bit losing the point that I was on. But I was talking about the Lord's Prayer and about Christ. For them, so it was, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be the name. The kingdom of heaven will be done. Give us this day our daily bread. We forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. So Amen is also an extension of Om, like I said before. Om and Amen, they're like the same thing. Amen was actually like, you could even say an evolution of Om. Because like, there's been the Rishis. Because think about this, Shiva was on Earth. Like I say, the timeline doesn't matter too much, but it could have even been like, what was it, 5,000 years ago, 15,000 years ago? I don't know. Jesus was on Earth over 2,000 years ago, but Shiva was on Earth. Let me actually check that real quick. Shiva, how long ago was he on Earth? Adi Yogi Shiva was 15,000 years ago. Wow, so I was actually right. The Indus Valley Civilization, 2350 to 2000 BCE. According to one tradition, the first guru, Adi Yogi Shiva, attained enlightenment between 15,000 and 40,000 years ago. It's interesting. But it's easier, what I'll kind of conclude about the whole Lord's Prayer thing is the reason it's so important to, so I guarantee at different points in people's lives that probably spoke to them, but it's really important, I think, especially like from someone like me that's kind of like been through quite a bit, and you get a lot of perspective in your wisdom and experience. I've been through a lot of crap, you know, but when you can have someone that can give perspective with an open third eye, but also I like to make it clear too that I'm very devoted to my practices, and if anything, I just think you start to not care about, it's almost like you care more. I think I try to think more about God, or I care less about any of my own achievements or this or that, because you sort of start to outgrow that stuff and you start to surrender more to God, have more devotion to God. But I was going to say that I just think it's very important. Like, luckily, people like Laguana, I know Pushpa is very, like, a lot of people, if someone's even into my channel or content anyway, then in one way or another, they're resonating with the energy that I'm putting out in one way or another. And it's not perfect. Nobody's perfect. You know, God's perfect, you could say. God's existence, I mean, like I say, I have my own issues, but I do believe the consciousness of God and the heaven of God, the causal plane and astral plane, I believe them to be perfect, you know, but there's a divine plan, and there are things that are beyond us that we just sort of have to have faith in. As stupid as some things in life can feel and seem. And also that's just me being honest, because like I just try to be as honest as I can while also being appropriate. But I was just gonna say about the Lord's Prayer that because there was a long time where I sort of made that mistake of I used to refer to myself as agnostic, or I was like, oh, I'm not religious at all, and this and that. But you start to get perspective in life. As you get wiser and as you get older, you get perspective, and ironically, don't overcomplicate. That's what's so sad is like, don't overcomplicate the religion. I think simplicity is like genius. So I think it's, and this is encouraged by the masters, that you relate to God in a way that works for you. You know, don't just like, so many other people are just like kind of followers. They don't even really critically think for themselves. But if like Christ resonates to you, then follow Christ. But to me, it's like be pragmatic. Like do meditation, because that's like a mathematical way. They literally say it's like scientific. It's referred to as the lightning path to realization. So it's like do meditation. Like, and that's why I put Isha Kriya in the description. And I bring it up when I want to bring it up, but I don't bother. It's like, because you know, when people are ready for it, they'll start exploring. But I do believe in less is more in life, because I've made that mistake so much in my life of overthinking things. But ironically, it's like life can be a lot, we have to simplify life where we can. Absolutely. It's also good for your energies too, because like if you like, for instance, like simplifying what is your life passion, like just using like Laguana as an example because he's here. He's in the computers and stuff, and I've encouraged him since the moment Laguana has come to this channel and shared that passion with the community. I have nurtured that flame, and I said, Laguana, keep studying that, keep doing that. Because that's they call it swadharma, or your dharma. That's like your calling. It's what comes natural to you. And that can change in life for people, but you should do what your calling is. And, you know, someone could have some job or something, like, if you're being of service and giving of yourself, that matters more. You know, or that matters just as much, in my perspective. And another thing that society really gets wrong is someone that works at a grocery store, a 7-Eleven, even whatever, McDonald's, if you're like, it's crazy. We live in a world that doesn't recognize people that are literally helping feed other people. They should be honored. They should be respected. They should be super valued. That should be considered prestigious. That you're feeding people. Like, wow, you're feeding people. You're working a job and feeding people. But yeah, I was talking about Swadharma. You guys will have to forgive me, because like I said, once again, talking about a passionate subject, and with my health issues, and when I get tired, I start to get a little out of it, but we're all good. We're big chillin'. But I was talking about simplicity. That's what I was talking about. In general, like spirituality, even like how I liked the comparison I gave before about like because like you're a bubble of consciousness, and if you think about it, sort of the trick of life is it's to not identify with the bubble. Like you can have identity, and you know you can create your. If you're living consciously, you create your personality, and hopefully you create a personality that is lovable, that is inclusive, that doesn't take life too serious. And that's good for everybody, or not necessarily good for everybody, but I think you get what I'm saying. Like, good intentioned and has everybody's best interest in mind, or is at least in that direction, because you don't need to like worry about everybody. That's the thing, is like once again, just simplifying it. You do what you can, but you just kind of like leave the rest to God. Really, you should leave it all to God. But once again, it's like, yeah, you do what you can in life. In all regards, you do your best and strive. But think about this, like I said, in my life, like, I have multiple degrees, 8 world records. At different points, I had world records. Top 100 in so many games, blah, blah, blah. But the truth is, another thing you learn in life is, well, first off, it doesn't matter, but it matters that you're passionate about it and that, you enjoy doing it and whatever. But my whole point of bringing that up as an example is that you give it to God. Or like a lot of things, I don't go around saying this all the time, but even a lot of days when I stream, or when, like, the Mario 64 thing, I make things an offering to God, because it's something, that I want to do, that I'm interested in. The individual me is interested in, passionate about games and these things, and I like challenges, and I like good content, and all that. But you don't need to parade around that you're making something an offering. But even the meditation you do, or even whatever job you do, or whatever, if you're a student studying, especially making something an offering, like in life when we're confused and we don't know what to do, or we don't know how to handle situations, offer it to God. If you worship Jesus, then offer it to Jesus. Because like, that's why it's always safe to go with, like, you tend to want to go with someone that is you can feel in your heart is a realized being. But making things an offering, it's honestly something I do all the time. Because, like, whether it's a health thing, or mental health, physical health, different challenges in life, because, like, there's just so many things that can be pretty crazy about life. But really, if you think about it, you have to, at one point or another, you just have to give. You have to give back to God. You have to give it all back to God. I was gonna say too, like, our bodies, it comes from the soil. You're made of star stuff. It's all connected. It seems separated, but it's connected. That's why it's so important to have your feet literally in the soil whenever you can. There's even scientific proof on this, that it speeds up the healing process, and it's just good for your system. Getting sunlight, feet in the soil, hands in the soil, gardening, go on walks in nature, breathe fresh air. I do all these things like any day that I can, and it does make a world of difference. There was another point that I was going to make, but yeah. And then, like, really, like, ironically, you do kind of get to a point, like I say, I'm a yoga instructor, multiple degrees, all this stuff, many accomplishments, worked so many jobs, have been manager at many businesses, GameStop, holistic health stores, all types of stuff. But you just end up realizing at the end of the day that surrendering to a higher power is like all you can really do. Really, like, the smart, like, ironically, the more they say, devotees are actually the smartest people, and society won't acknowledge it, but screw society in that regard. But when I say that in a loving way, because like I said, even though there's a lot of corruption in society, society's an important thing, and just because other people are corrupt and because politics are corrupt and people are sinning all over the place but making it seem virtuous. You have to take things as they are, and it's going to take a long time, I think, for society to grow up because there's so much corruption. But instead of you just have to be the light. It's like you be the change you want to see in the world, and that's how you make change in the world. Is you change yourself and you be what you think is, good. But yeah, I'm definitely. I think I've said pretty much everything I want to say on this, but it's good. I'm just kind of get it all out, like I say. And you guys know that we're all spiritual, but it's like I'm a spiritual person. I don't even talk about it a lot, but I only talk about it when I feel inspired to. And like I said, with the health stuff I have coming up, and especially just keep me in your prayers for the 1st of December. And yeah, tomorrow I have to go to the doctor's for a checkup, and been doing all types of stuff. So, but yeah, when I feel inspired to, I talk about it. And that's pretty much that. If there's anything else, like I feel like I said pretty much. But yeah, like I'll try to kind of finish up what I was saying about simplicity, even though I think you guys get the point that I'm making. But that's just something I feel like is so overlooked in life, is simplifying things. Because it's so easy to overthink things, or that's sort of why I was bringing it up after the Lord's Prayer, is because the Lord's Prayer kind of simplifies. It's like giving gratitude for just even food, for breathing, for life, and then just focusing on that higher power and connecting to that higher power. Because it's sort of like, you could say the physicality of life is like a delusion. So like I said, we're like these individualized bubbles of consciousness. And ironically, this is something, because like being that I've gone through it, you get perspective on things. But a lot of media, whether it's I don't want to use TikTok as an example because I don't even use TikTok. But I know what TikTok is, and I know the crap that's on it. Very brain rot, low consciousness crap. But it also can be entertaining and good, just like YouTube or anything. But a lot of media, the news and commercials, a lot of it is like fear of missing out stuff, where it's like propaganda, it's marketing stuff to make you feel inadequate, like you need something. And then they get people in a loop of like needing more and more and more, and it's insatiable. Most desires are insatiable. That's also why God is important, because that's something that no one can take from you, and you are that. Society, they're like, and the thing too is, well, I guarantee you on deeper levels, society or like the government is aware of the truth, but if people know the truth, then that empowers them. So why do you think they crucified Jesus? You know what I mean? If you really think about it, it's because Jesus was powerful, and people were following him, and they didn't like that, so they crucified him. And if you think about it too, so Judas betrayed Jesus. And Judas, he sold out. That's what happened there. And like Judas, he was like supposed to be Jesus' best friend and stuff. But he was sort of having issues with Jesus, just feeling like there's the one part in the Bible where he's saying like, oh, like, you know, Mary was washing Christ's feet with like perfumes and like perfuming his hair, perfuming his feet, all this stuff, something like that. Washing his feet, perfuming his hair, something like that. And then he was like, oh, why are you wasting this perfume on Jesus? But then, I'm pretty sure, and I could be mixing this up, but Jesus sort of rebutted with, you'll always have people. Oh, because like he's like, oh, we could have used the money for the poor, blah, blah, blah. And then Jesus sort of said something like, you're always going to have people, but he was saying in metaphor. A lot of the Bible is like, a lot of it's literal, but it's metaphor. That you're always going to have people of low consciousness, but you will not always have the high consciousness of Christ. That's what Jesus was saying. But he kind of said it, he would speak in, can't even think of what the word is. Sort of like metaphors, but I forget the word. Jesus, wait, I could probably even look that up. Jesus spoke in parables. Jesus spoke in parables. Jesus frequently spoke in parables to teach about the kingdom of God. He used these short metaphorical stories to convey spiritual truths in a way that would be memorable and encourage deeper understanding, particularly for his followers who were seeking the secrets of the kingdom of heaven. For others, the parables acted as a form of judgment, hiding the meaning from those with closed hearts, according to verses in Matthew. Yeah, both true. But then Jesus, where he sinned. I mean, it's very obvious, but that sort of is an example of Satan or the devil, because once again, the Lord's Prayer, where it's like the temptation. Like, the thing is, anybody could have done that. Anybody could have done that. Like, or made that mistake that Judas made, because Judas had good intentions, but he just didn't display them properly. And like, he betrayed Christ. But then, people can do their own research on Judas, but I did hear from Yogananda that I don't know how many lifetimes after, it was something like 5 lifetimes after, like reincarnating, that Judas finally found dissolution or realization. So even Judas was able to redeem himself, I guess you could say. But yeah, he made a mistake, and he kind of got caught up in the moment or whatever. I guess he thought he knew better. But that's a very human, just a human. It's human to error or whatever, But that's also another reason why it's so important to meditate, to pray. And another thing too, because I always like to be pragmatic and practical about life. I've really learned to be that way, because I used to be very like, whatever. The whole point is I'm very practical now. Because that also can lead people to not be spiritual, or they're spiritual whether they want to be or not. It's almost like, the way I like to think of it is, most people, they just hide the light. They've lost touch with their chakras, with their inner energy. So it's like the light is just so dim that they can't, it seems like it's not there, but they exist. So God is in some level in them. It just is. That just is. There was a point that I was going to make there, but oh yeah, about being practical and pragmatic, is a way to connect with truth is like your breath, just with your breath. In meditation, a lot of that too, it's not about controlling your thoughts, you know, it's about being with the breath, focusing on the point between the eyebrows, like that. If you really break down meditation in a very simple sense, without doing some specific sadhana like Shambhavi Mahamudra or the Isha Kriya, it's being with the breath and being, you know, and also when Sadhguru has that quote, the only way out is within. So you're turning within to discover truth. You're not looking for it outside of yourself. So that's a big distinction from like a lot of churches, because like a lot of churches, it's like, oh, listen to this person yap, just, and then not to mention that it's very rare, because I even go to different churches, and it's very rare that they speak the truth. A lot of times they're just like repeating the Bible verbatim, and they're not even getting the hidden message correct. But like I say, I still give credit that they're trying. And I think it's better than nothing, for sure. It's better than a lot of the other stuff in society. But it's not good where it can lead people to not believe, because it's not even about belief, because it's just something that is. If you look at what's there, you look deeper. But yeah, I was going to say about turning within. Because they say that's how you dissolve karma. Is you're going within, you're going to the pure essence of God. And just by doing that, you're dissolving karma, because you're returning to your source. You're returning home. You're coming back home. So, like, yeah, you're turning within. So, like, it sort of makes sense. And by continuing to do that sadhana of going within, eventually something's going to blossom, something's going to open up. So that's why they call it realization, or it's like a flowering of consciousness. So naturally that consciousness, it's like doing meditation is like watering. How do you get a plant to grow? Oh, you water the roots. You give it sun, you know, you expose it to sunlight. It needs nutrients. So we're like those plants. We're like those flowers. Meditation is like watering the plants, and you don't keep checking, you don't keep digging up the seeds to see if it's growing. You do your meditation, and also because like they say, if you don't want to meditate, then you just take a slower path, because naturally if you're like a quote-unquote, not to get in like good and bad, but when I say good, I mean like a conscious person. Because there's only good and bad actions, but not necessarily good and bad people. Because like everybody makes mistakes, and as long as we learn from those mistakes and grow, then that's what matters most. But yeah, Kriya Yoga, that's like for those that are interested in getting to the destination as quick as possible. So that, and also, because I've been through like all the different facets of meditation, but I've been dedicated on with the Shambhavi sadhana, that's 35, not to mention, I also do like Surya Kriya, which are these advanced sun salutations through Isha, but because of my health issues, I haven't been able to do them the last month or two. But I was even doing 3 cycles of that, which takes like an hour or like 45 minutes. And then I was doing the Shambhavi every day. But I can do the Shambhavi still, so I still do that. But it takes dedication, you know. And honestly, but I realize like I think it's good if someone even meditates once a month. That's great. That's more than most people are doing, so that's awesome. But meditation's for those that want to know truth as soon as possible. And it can be immediate. It really is immediate, because don't wait for any bells and whistles and fireworks. It's not about that. It will happen, but it's not about that. But like, yeah, karma yoga. I'd say in the world, there's definitely more karma yogis. Because, like, I'd say if someone, even it doesn't matter what they're doing, whatever their work is, whether they're studying or working or whatever, if they're doing it as a service, sometimes it almost doesn't, if they're doing it with a good spirit and a good inclusive intention, it actually is it's a good thing. And they could even, yeah. But I'd say ultimately it's the best when you do it for God, because that's like super all-inclusive, because it's also it's transcendental. It kind of transcends, you kind of go beyond. But I'd say a lot of people they're like, because if they're still attached to or bound to the physical, it's just limited. That's all it is. It's just limited. But I'd say that's also it's very good, but it's not the ultimate per se, but it's good though. It's definitely good. The bhakti, and also there's bhaktis. People, I was gonna say like most saints are bhaktis. Bhakti, the yoga of devotion. And I like, because like I say, I've spent over a decade studying this stuff, and I'm a yoga instructor, blah blah blah. To translate what devotion actually is, because that's another thing that's misrepresented in the educational system, society, and media. True devotion, it translates to being devoid of oneself. So it doesn't necessarily mean some obligation to something. It means you use something to be less of yourself. So if you're devout to Jesus, and by connecting to the energy of Christ, you are making less of yourself. And by making less of yourself, you're connecting to the Christ consciousness, which leads to the God consciousness. That's the importance of Christ consciousness, is that not only in and of itself, but Christ consciousness leads the God consciousness. And then the Jnana yoga, that's just the truth and untruth, but they say that that's usually not a recommended path in yoga. But you have it anyway, because it's like, it's your mind. But being able to discriminate to what is truth, what is true and what is untrue, or what is truth and untruth, rather. Like, so what's lasting? You know, what is the thing that's lasting lifetime after lifetime, or that is the life behind the life? Because they say from the enlightened perspective, God is life, or it's consciousness, existence, bliss absolute, as the, you know, as it's said from the rishis and the yogis. But my point being that what's beyond the physical, and what is the universal truth that is not relative, that is forever, or like eternal. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I think for sure now my TED talk is done. I pretty much got everything out that I want to say on that subject, which is pretty nice. And we got more than half a level At level 57, a little weird getting close. But I appreciate everybody that's been hanging out, that's been listening. Like I said, keep me in your prayers for the health stuff I have going on and the medical stuff I have going on for December 1st. If you want to support, all I ask is you smash the like button when I go live, or if I post a short or a video, just smash the like button, and it helps the algorithm, it helps me. I greatly appreciate it. And I was gonna say too, I always keep you guys in my prayers. I always try to be a positive force in the universe. I try to inspire and motivate you guys. And yeah, I keep you guys in my prayers. Because really that it's kind of making me feel a little bit of emotional, but it's a good emotion. That's what I care about most in life, is everyone's well-being, their spiritual well-being, and just their well-being in general. And I hope that through, like I say, through everything I've been through in my life, I try to take those lessons and share with you guys, so you know, it can give perspective, because to me that's very important. I don't think a lot of people do that. I know a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people, they tend to, like, you know, they keep, it can be good to keep to yourself, because ironically I am a very private person. When I stream, it's a bit more public, you know, but ironically I'm very private. I only share if it's something that I feel it can benefit people, or, you know, if I'm just on stream and I'm sharing, that's just me being a natural person. I'm just like, but I try to make it that it's you know, yeah, just good for everybody. And I try to grow as a person all the time. It can be really hard, because you definitely know you're making growth in life when it's not easy. I'll tell you that. When you're really trying to make growth, and I was gonna say better than the word, because like changing does not do it justice. Because like I've heard Sadhguru say this, that when you start to do meditation and you can transform yourself. Transforming means like nothing of the old remains. Because changing means like, oh, you just kind of like, it's almost like I said about like you change the cover of the book, or like you can change a little bit. But like transforming is like a true evolution where you grow as a person. And to me, that entails a lot of vulnerability. It's uncomfortable, you know, it can be scary. I've been going through a lot of that, you know. But sometimes I'm like, yeah, I was gonna say, just like, you have to sort of surrender to a higher power, in my opinion. I mean, to me, it's almost seems common sense, but a lot of times common sense is like the hardest sense, ironically. But we live in just a world of like a very manipulated world. So ironically, it can be hard to have common sense. It can be very easy to be misled. Even like sometimes, like when I'm like breaking from stream, and if I'm not going on a walk or doing whatever, working on my game, or a million things going on, when I do, like, I don't watch TV. I hate TV, but on the smart TV, I'll watch, like, the Pluto TV, The Price is Right. I try to watch things that are, like, good vibrations, good frequency, lighthearted, fun. But whenever I see the commercials on YouTube or, like, commercials on TV, it's such, like, trash. It really is such trash. I mean, and so much of TV is just, like, garbage. And it's really funny because, like, I've gone a long time. I do not watch TV at all. I don't even have, like, cable in that sense. I just have the smart TV. I watch YouTube. So I'm very specific. If I'm watching something, it's, like, about video games or game development, or, you know, I'm, like, studying something for, like, self-improvement in some regard. But, when you take a break from all that stuff and then you go back to it, you're like, wow, this stuff is trash. Very low consciousness. Like trash. Kind of funny. But yeah, the true second coming of Christ is in people. It's in people. So if you really think about it, it's like, even like me talking about this stuff, that's kind of like me doing my part, you know? It's me doing my part of spreading that Christ consciousness that I know, or that, like, that, to the extent that I'm aware of. And then even a lot of the things that I share, well, a lot of it comes from personal experience. But then the things that, because you have to give the benefit of the doubt to, like, I've been in Sadhguru's presence, Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev of Isha Foundation, that Sadhguru. I spent a week with him in the mountains at the Tennessee ashram in McMinnville. Near Nashville. But, and then I've been in his presence for that week, and I was in his presence for the weekend for Isha, and I already knew he was the real deal before meeting him, but then there's millions of testimonies of people that have been in his presence, and I will admit it's the most enlightened energy I've ever been around. Aside from Swami Shankarananda, before he left the body of Divine Life Church, but he's a lesser known guru. But Sadhguru's known around everywhere now. But that's what I like, but I always humbly defer to that. Even like when I was sharing everything, I was sharing about my own spiritual experience. Well, I did not talk about spiritual experiences intentionally, but I just say the bare minimum. But I always defer to the expert. So it's like, you know, if people have any other questions or like things like that, go to, like, watch videos of Sadhguru talking, or, you know, if just really the thing too is you don't, to me it's like you just go to, the practices are more important than the TED Talks. The TED Talks are good to inspire, and it's good truth. It's never a bad thing to talk about truth, but I'm definitely at a point now, even though, like, yeah, if someone, like, if I were listening to the things I was just rambling about for the last hour, it's beneficial for sure. But the proof's in the pudding as far as, like, you do the practices, you do your Kriya, you be awesome to each other. The golden rule, that's a good way to close things out. I have that on my fridge, on the dry erase board, the golden rule. So that's another way to simplify things. And yeah, because it's like, if you ever get confused in life, it's sort of like a what would Jesus do thing. You know, what would Jesus do? Yeah, it's pretty powerful, actually. Yeah, you keep it simple, do the practices, and be awesome. Be awesome to each other. Follow your passions. I like reading the guild chat sometimes. Playing Final Fantasy 7 earlier. Tomorrow, when I get back from the doctor's appointment tomorrow, get some good food, probably do some more Final Fantasy 7 tomorrow, because I did have a lot of fun. That game is really good. I really liked the scene that I did today. What was it called? Cosmos Canyon? Red 13's like hometown, and that scientist dude, that was wild. That was wild. That whole like observatory thing, that was really cool. That was really cool. Also, I appreciate everyone hanging out tonight. I'm gonna keep everybody in my prayers tonight. We can all pray for each other. We all pray for each other. Me and Butterball are gonna get ready for bed soon because past Butterball's bedtime. Butterball's usually in bed at like 9:30. It's 10 o'clock. Yeah, we gotta get up a little early tomorrow. All good. What was that item? Oh, this isn't. Oh, okay. Yeah, we had this book too. Hey, what? I got another 2 elementals. Jeez, I keep finding these cards now. I keep selling them, but... had sushi for dinner tonight from a new sushi place. It was really good. And I got steamed shrimp dumplings. Oh my god, they're so good. And the sushi was avocado salmon avocado roll. It was really, really good. Warcraft is so awesome.
I buy and trade.
I buy and trade. Oh, those shoulders. Oh. Really good, though. Whoa, holy. Should I start keeping these cards again? I sold all the other ones.
Have a good one.
She's a paladin. Yeah, Warcraft is awesome.
Alone be praised.
Alright guys, me and Butterball are going to get ready for bed. Like and subscribe. I'll be on tomorrow with Final Fantasy 7 and more games. We're level 57. Almost 58. Maybe we'll get level 58 tomorrow. More Kirby Air Riders. We'll get into a bunch of games tomorrow. But hope everyone's well. Take it easy. Be awesome to each other. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace. See you later.